Jamie bought 23 cases of soda for her party, and each case contains a dozen cans. Okay, well, if each case contains a dozen cans, we know a dozen is 12, so let's just go ahead and write one case equals 12 cans. Okay, we're probably going to have to use that at some point. Part A, if her guests drank 223 cans of soda, how many cases were used? Now we want to express the answer as a mixed number. So again, this is yet another example of taking one big thing, this group of 223 cans, and splitting it up into smaller things, cases. So how many cases were used? Well, one case is 12 cans, so it's basically saying how many 12s, how many groups of 12s are there in 223? So that's telling us that we want to divide. Anytime we're taking one big thing and splitting it up into smaller groups, we want to divide. So we want to do 223 divided by 12. But the directions say express the answer as a mixed number. And anytime we need to divide and come up with a mixed number, I'm going to use long division. And I'm using long division, as I've mentioned before, because my calculator doesn't work with mixed numbers. I mean, if I do 223 divided by 12 on a calculator, I'm going to get a decimal. So I'm going to use long division so I could come up with a mixed number as my final answer. So I want to do 223 and divide that by 12. Okay, so let's see. 12 goes into 22 one time. Subtract. That'll give us 10. Bring down the 3. 12 goes into 103 8 times, and 8 times 12 is 96. So when we subtract, we'll have a remainder of 7. So if we take 223 divided by 12, we get 18. So let's convert this to a mixed number. We get 18 with a remainder of 7 out of 12. And that's the number of cases used. All right, so part B, how many sodas were left over? So how many individual cans were left over? Well, we started with 23 cases. So if one case is 12 cans, how many cans are in 23 cases? Well, each case is 12, so we have to multiply that by 12. And if we do 23 times 12, that is 276 cans to start with. Okay, so if we started with 276, if we take away what the guests drank, we'll be left with the number of sodas that were left over. So what we want to do is we want to take that 276, subtract off the 223, so that was given in part A. And if we take 276 minus 223, we will get 53, and that's the number of cans left over. And now in part C, similar to part A, we want to know how many cases were left over. Well, we could do one of two things. We could take the 23. So option 1 is we could take the 23 cases to start with, and we could subtract off the 18 and 7 over 12. Or we could take our answer from part B and say, okay, well, there were 53 cans left over, and we could divide that by 12 to determine how many cases were left over. So either way, both of these methods work. I'm going to go with the second one. So again, we're taking one big thing, the total cans left over, and dividing it up into smaller things, how many cases, so how many groups of 12. So basically, how many 12s are there in those 53 cans? And again, we want a mixed number. So again, I'm going to use long division. So we want to do 53 divided by 12. And 12 goes into 53 4 times, because 4 times 12 is 48, with a remainder of 5. Okay, so let's give this as a mixed number. 12 goes into 53 4 times, 4 total times, with a remainder of 5 out of the 12. And that would be cases left over. Okay, so we could have used either method. We could have taken our answer from part 1 and subtracted it from the 23. We would have gotten the same answer. All right, so that does it for this problem.